Stare at the Kasina with relaxed eyes and facial muscles until you feel a shift in which the color starts to bleed around the edges of the Kasina if you shift your eyes, or when you notice some visual distortion. This might take from 30 seconds to a minute or two. Then close your eyes and fix on the visual purple after image, a general term, which doesn't imply the image will necessarily be purple, but that it will be the complementary color of the object which, if the object is yellow, will be purple, and pay attention to this to the exclusion of everything else, if possible. So, if the external cast in an object is bright, the initial visual purple after image will be dark, and if the Kasina is dark, the after image will be light. The visual purple image may wander, spin off to the side, morph, flicker, or fade, but don't worry about that initially, just keep your attention on it, tracking exactly what it does with a high degree of interest in the fine specifics of every little movement, change, and wiggle. Early on, people will often notice tension in their eye muscles, eyelids, and forehead when their eyes are closed until they realize that the sort of looking they are now doing doesn't have much to do with their eyes. Eventually, this tension will go away, but initially it can be annoying. That tension is stage and state dependent. Try relaxing your eyes while still paying gentle attention to the visuals. This just takes practice, so don't get frustrated. When whatever organized images fade totally away and there is nothing but the visual static on the inside of your eyelids, open your eyes, stare at the image again as before, wait for the burn into your retinas again, and close your eyes and focus on the image again until it is gone again. Repeating this again and again will eventually build up something powerful. At some point, you will start to notice something beyond just the visual purple after image, and instead something clean, bright, and more defined will begin to glow. At some point the created image will begin to get clearer, brighter, more refined, and more stable. The more refined dot is called the nimitta in the Pali commentaries. The nimitta will eventually start to do strange things, such as oscillate between a black dot and some greenish-yellow dot, or other variants on this theme. It may acquire all sorts of fine details, change color many times, develop into other images, and even begin to seem alive, like you are watching an animation. The larger the nimitta, the more remarkable the show that it can produce, particularly in terms of exquisite little nuances, images, colors, and shimmering variability. As practice grows stronger, you will notice that your internal intentions and inclinations have more and more control of what shapes and colors the nimitta becomes, as well as where it is in the visual field and how it moves. Eventually, the nimitta may fade entirely despite progress in concentration, only to return a bit altered, then fade, then return a bit altered, then fade, and finally will just be gone. On repeated cycles through this, you will notice that, after looking at the object and closing your eyes, more of the background of the disk will also generate after images around the central image. Some of those more peripheral images may begin to stabilize into sheets of blue, purple, or some other color, even as the red dot itself is fading to black. Up to this point, basically everyone I know experiences nearly the same sequence when they do this practice. That cannot be said for what happens next.